What's up, YouTube? It's another day with the one and only Billy J. And this is my review of episode 14 of American Idol, the other top 12 duets. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. The first duet was Amelia Eisenhower and Kelly Pickler, and they sang Suds in the Bucket by Sarah Evans. I love this song, and I felt this song was very fitting for Amelia. I loved her talent of being able to play the fiddle. It was so perfect for this song, and her voice actually fit this song as well. I felt this was a perfect match with Amelia and Kelly. Next up was Corey Wheeler and Haley Reinhart, and they sang Bennie and the Jets by Elton John. This was a great duet and very fitting that Corey performed this song during his auditions. And I love Corey's voice. This, I felt, was a match made in heaven. One critique of Corey is that I think he needs to actually loosen up when he's performing just a little bit. Next up was Lee John and Chris Daughtry, and they sang Home by Chris Daughtry. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I am not a fan of Lee John, not by a mile. But I have to admit that this performance actually was pretty good. Not the greatest, but also not that bad. You can really tell when he's singing with Chris Daughtry. You can definitely tell that inexperience in Lee John's voice and his performance. But had Lee John been able to do this as a solo, like his solo portion, you can kind of tell that it would have been a very good performance on his part if he was able to perform the song just by himself and didn't have that instant comparison between him and Chris Daughtry. So I was actually impressed by Lee John's performance. Next up was CJ Johnson and David Cook, and they sang The World I Know by Collective Soul. To me, I felt CJ started off really shaky, and unfortunately in bits I felt he was like swallowed up and lost. I normally love CJ, and I was really rooting for him in this competition. But unfortunately, I've been very disappointed in his performances on the live stage, and unfortunately I felt that CJ kind of plateaued. Next up was Manny Torres and Jordin Sparks, and they sang No Air by Jordin Sparks and Chris Brown. Now, this was a song that actually was a duet, unlike a lot of the other songs that weren't duets that they just, do it as a duet. But one thing in this performance that I didn't realize before is how short Manny is. He's actually probably about the same height as Ryan Seacrest, and he looked awfully short compared to Jordin. However, I will say that it was a good performance on Manny's part. I know I'm not his biggest fan, but this is actually a pretty good performance. And another thing, I felt that Manny also, along with many other contestants, in the chorus when he's singing with Jordin, I think he kind of got swallowed up in the chorus and being overpowered. But like I said, in his solo portions of the song, he actually did pretty well. Next up was Jen Blossel and Constantine, and they sang My Funny Valentine by Frank Sinatra. I felt Jen did a way better job tonight than the previous night. Now, one thing I want to say about the overall arrangement is that I personally didn't like the arrangement. I wish they would have done a more stripped down acoustic style of the song, and I think it would have led to a more powerful performance on both their parts. But like I said, Jen did a very good job, and like I said, a great job compared to the prior night. Next up was Tristan McIntosh and Kelly Pickler, and they sang Best Days of Your Life by Kelly Pickler. Like I said before, with other contestants, Tristan was being drowned out by Kelly during the chorus. And when they started out at the chorus part with them both trying to harmonize and sing together, I thought, oh boy, Tristan is in way over her head. And this is going to be a bad performance on her part. However, once she got to her solo portions of the song, I felt that Tristan actually held her own. And I agree with the judges that Tristan needs to get some performance lessons. Her voice is okay, but her performance on the stage, her stage presence, how to move, how to, what to do with her arms and stuff like that, I think she needs to take some tips. But that also goes towards her inexperience, as well as many of the contestants. The more natural people on the stage actually have had a lot of experience, and so it's second nature of them to be on stage and know how to move. But for the younger kids, it definitely shows their inexperience. Next up was Olivia Rocks and David Cook, and they sang Light On by David Cook. I said it before and I'll say it again, Olivia rocks. She did a great job and she held that one note beautifully. And one thing I'm going to say is that Olivia has legs for days. I mean, look at how long these legs are. And she does have a powerhouse voice. Let's just hope that going forward, she picks good songs to sing and, of course, doesn't fall under that kryptonite of picking the wrong songs. The next duet was Adam Lasher and Haley Reinhart, and they sang Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley. Wow, what a performance. I, of course, love Haley. But Adam actually did a very good job, way better than the night prior. And this duet was great and so sweet, especially when they went and held hands while they were singing. And my one critique for Adam is that I agree with Keith that Adam did look a little stiff up there, like he sat up there like he was like a stiff board or something. He could have loosened up just a little bit. Yeah, he didn't have to necessarily move around too much, but just, loosen up and not be so tense. Next up was Dalton Rapatoni and Chris Daughtry, and they sang Higher Ground by Stevie Wonder. What more can I say about Dalton? He is so comfortable up on that stage, like he was born to be on a stage. Even if Dalton doesn't win, I think he's going to move forward and do great things, just like Chris Daughtry and Adam Lambert. Dalton doesn't need the win. Next up was Trent Harmon and Jordan Sparks, and they sang To Love Somebody by the Bee Gees. Once again, I love Trent. I love his voice. This duet was amazing. What more can I say? I'll have to say that this duet was probably my favorite. And my only critique of Trent is his facial expressions. Like when he sings, it looks like he's having a heart attack or he's constipated and kind of hunches over and goes, and it's not very attractive. So he needs to work on that. But otherwise, Trent, I love you. And the final performance of the night was Shelby Z and Constantine, and they sang Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. A big song for a big voice. What a great performer Shelby Z is. She could sing country with the best of them, and she could sing rock with the best of them. I love this performance, and I felt that their voices matched up perfectly, and I don't know what the hell the judges were listening to, but I loved this. It was a great way to end the night of the duets. Like I said, I don't know what the hell the judges were listening to. I think they just wanted to say some bad things so that the results weren't so shocking. And speaking of results, let's get down to the final 5 that were booted out. So, going home tonight was Amelia Eisenhower, Corey Wheeler, CJ Johnson, Adam Lasher, and Shelby Z. What a disappointment. Shelby Z should definitely have made it forward. She could have replaced Tristan, who I feel her performances are kind of weak. And I felt that perhaps Corey could have replaced Manny in the top 14. And I find it kind of funny how none of the contestants that returned, either from last season or previous seasons, made it to the top 14. Oh well, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, those are my thoughts. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts on the duets. And do you think the right people went home? Remember, peace, love, unity, respect. Peace out, guys.